All right, family. We are back again with yet another Sabbath day lesson. Today we are going to be doing Genesis 10. And just like before, in Genesis 5, I believe it was Genesis 5, where they listed out all the names of all these different people and all that. We got another similar chapter here in Genesis 10. And I'm going to go in through depth on how all of these things why the Most High gave all these names, what they mean for Israel, our redemption, all that stuff, all the plans that the Most High had from the beginning when he did this. So without further ado, brother, can you read verse number 1?
Genesis chapter 10.
Yes, sir.
Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Oh, isn't this just so precious, Israel? The heathen nations love to use this verse to claim they're all part of God's big happy family. Newsflash, this ain't some kumbaya moment here. This is the Most High setting the stage for the real story, the rise of his chosen people, Israel. You see, while Noah's sons were busy populating the earth, the Almighty was playing 4D chess, maneuvering the pieces of his master plan. As it says, if we go over to Acts 17 and 26 real quick, to go see what the Most High was doing behind the scenes. Again, that is Acts chapter 17 and verse number 26.
And hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation.
That's right. He set it all up, including when these nations would rise and fall. Verse 2, brother. Of Genesis 10.
Gotcha. The sons of Japheth, Gomer and Magog, and Madai and Javan, and Tubal and Meshach and Tyrus.
Oh boy, here we go, right here. The pseudo scholars and the YouTube prophets love to have a field day with this verse, don't they? They're out here playing pin the tail on the European, trying to match every name to some modern country like it's a dang on game of Risk. Oh, Gomer must be Germany. Magog, definitely Russia. And Javan, that's totally Greece, bro. Yeah. But give me a break. These clowns are so busy trying to crack some non-existent biblical code that you're missing the whole point of why the Most High laid these names out. These names are not a roadmap to World War III for those paranoid nut jobs out there. They're a testament to how the Most High scattered the nation, fulfilling his promise in Deuteronomy 32 and 8. If we go over to Deuteronomy 32 and 8 to see this promise here.
When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of children of Israel.
Y'all see that? I got a revelation on this while I was going through this. That chapter, or that particular verse in Deuteronomy, always baffled me. But as I was going through this chapter, revelation hit me. The Most High literally created and had all these people make all these nations. Why? So when Israel messed up, because he knew they was going to mess up, they had somewhere to go. These nations are holding cells, if you want to call it that. They're the warden, and we are in prison. The Most High made sure all these nations were there for when he scattered us. We had some place to go. That's why I said, according to the number of the children of Israel. Why? Because he knew he was going to kick us out of the land, and we needed a place to stay. This is what the whole meaning. This is why he separated all these different people into their own countries and all of that. So we have somewhere to go. That's why we are in every country today. We are living out our prison sentence for our disobedience. That's why these nations are here. The Most High ain't naming them for you to go and pin the tail on these people, figuring out who these people are today. No, no, no. He's telling you this because he's showing you where your behind is going to be. Scattered to. That right there is the real truth of this entire chapter. That's the whole thing about this chapter. The Most High naming all these places where you're going to be at, where you're going to be scattered to, Israel. Even when listing out these heathen nations, it all comes back to us. The Most High was what? Setting the stage, preparing the world for what? The arrival of his chosen people. But no, these people out here would rather play Nostradamus and try to predict which nation is going to nuke which one. Here's a prophecy for you. If you don't pull your heads out your butts and focus on the real message, which I just gave you, the only thing getting nuked is going to be your chances at salvation. Now let's talk about the real symbolism here, family. The 7 sons of Japheth, they represent what? The fullness of the Gentile nations. 7, as we know so far, as we've been doing these lessons, is the number of completion in the Bible. But guess what? It's an imperfect completion compared to what? The 12 tribes of Israel. The Most High is saying this. Sure, I'll let these other nations exist, but they're just the opening act. The real show is going to be my chosen people. That's us. That's me. That's you. It's like comparing a middle school talent show to a Broadway production. There's just no competition. And for those who are slow in the uptake, let me spell it out. Just like how these 7 sons spread out and formed their own nations, we see the same thing happening today. You got your G7 nations out there thinking they run the world, your UN Security Council acting all high and mighty. But just like in the Bible, they're all just placeholders until what? The real chosen people step up to take their rightful place. So next time you're tempted to waste your time trying to match Bible names to modern countries, remember this. The Most High didn't give us his genealogy for your geopolitical fan fiction. He gave it to us to show how he's been setting the stage for Israel's redemption since day one. This is what it's all about. It's all about you, Israel. He's giving you the roadmap right here. This is a roadmap right here. So let's continue in verse 3 and 4, Genesis 10 here. Get some more of these names.
Roll call time.
Roll call.
And the sons of Gomer, not Gomer Powell. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. And the sons of Javan, Elishash, Tarshish, and Kittim, and Dunam.
So here we go again. We got another lineup of names that got all these wannabe prophecy experts frothing at them out. Let me guess. The Ashkenaz is talking about the Ashkenazi Jews, ain't it? Shows how much you know. This ain't some genetic ancestry test. The Most High ain't giving us a 23andMe breakdown here. He's showing us how he scattered these nations like a farmer sowing seeds. Only these seeds ain't producing no bountiful harvest, if you catch my drift. Remember what the prophet said in Jeremiah 1 and 10. Let's go there and go see what Jeremiah said here. Watch this. These are the reason why these nations are around. Watch this. Again, that's Jeremiah 1, verse 10.
See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Y'all see this? The Almighty was planting these nations, but best believe he was also setting them up for a divine pruning, as we see. A lot of these nations, poof, they rose and they fell. They rose and they fell. And all these nations today, same thing. They have risen, but they're all going to fall. They're all going to fall. There's only going to be one kingdom left, our kingdom. We could go to Daniel 2 and 44 to go see that real quick. Off the dome. Daniel 2:24. Daniel 2:44.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms and it shall
All of
stand
these.
forever.
All of them. All of these kingdoms going away that are in here today. All of them going away. Not one of them going to be left. We're going to rule the earth, family. So you got these sons of Javan here, Alicia, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Another verse, another parade of names that got the false prophets salivating like Pavlov's dogs at a bell factory. They probably think Tarshish is Spain, Kittim is Cyprus, don't you? Congratulations, you successfully regurgitated some half-baked commentary you found in the bargain bin at your local Christian bookstore. Good job, you missed the point. Wake up and smell the coffee, Israel. This ain't about modern day geography. The Most High is showing us how he set up these nations as examples for Israel. As it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 37. Let's go there and read this. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 37.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
You see, while these nations were busy setting up their little kingdoms and empires, their Almighty was playing them like chess pieces. He was saying, look here, Israel, see how I'm arranging these nations? That's so you'll have someone to rule over when you finally get your act together. This is what it's all about, family. These people are literally only here to be ruled and we're shown an example of what not to do. That's why they're here. They're literally only here to be ruled. I know how crazy and harsh that may sound, and that may piss off a lot of heathen, but that's the truth. There are just supporting characters in this movie. We are the main event. They're only here taking up space until we get our act together and the Most High puts us above them. This is all it is. Plain and simple. Come through all the crap, all the convolution, all the stupid stuff that they have come up with to complicate this. I just threw it all away and showed you the simple fact. These nations are only around to be ruled by you if you make it to the kingdom. They have no other purpose. None. Zero. This is how the Most High thinks. This is how he thinks. Remember, the nations are a bucket. He don't care about them. He cares about you. So that's why it grieves me when I see our people out there talking about these other nations. Well, what about this nation? Well, what about them? Are they going to? No, who cares? The Most High don't care. Neither should you. Stop caring about your oppressor. These people don't care about you. At the first sign, they will show their true colors when you do not benefit them anymore. You're about to see it soon in this country, worldwide. You're about to see the true colors come out. That's why the Most High says, come out of her, my people. Come out, separate yourselves from these heathen. Why are you trying to be hand in hand with your future servant? It makes no sense to me. So let's talk about the symbolism here. Notice how we got 4 sons of Javan listed here. 4, as in what? The 4 corners of the earth. The Most High is showing us that these Gentiles might spread, though they may spread far and wide, they'll never have the full 12-tribe completeness of Israel. Same way like the United Nations. A bunch of nations thinking they're hot stuff, making alliances, drawing borders. But just like the UN today, it's all just a sideshow until the real chosen people step up to what? Take charge. Remember, the Most High did not give us this genealogy for our half-baked history lessons that we are doing today. He gave it to us to show how he's been orchestrating this whole show from what? The jump. Setting the stage for Israel's ultimate comeback tour. This is what it's all about, family. It does not matter who's who, who's what. It doesn't matter. The Most High only cares about one people, Israel. These other people do not matter in the grand scheme of things. You are superior. Yes, we are all God's children if they want to bring it that way. But guess what? The Most High has a favorite child. And that's me, that's you. That's what it's about, family. So let's keep it moving. Genesis 10 and 5.
By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
Oh, look, a pretty map of Gentile nations. That's what these false prophets and YouTube scholars out here. Oh, well, they get a hard on for this one. They love this. They love this verse. But family, this ain't no National Geographic special. The Most High is laying down some serious foreshadowing here. He's setting the stage for the real show, the rise and fall and ultimate triumph of his people Israel. How do we know this? Well, let's go and break it down. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided. Let's break this down right quick. Most people say, oh, Most High just talking about some islands here. No, the word isles here is symbolic. It's referring to all nations of the world. How do we know? Let's go to Isaiah 41 and 1, where you see the prophet using the exact same word isles to mean all the world. Again, Isaiah 41 and 1. Let it fly.
Keep silence before me, O islands, and let the people renew their strength. Let them come near. Then let them speak. Let us come near together to judgment.
Most High is showing you how he divided up the whole damn world. Showing you right there. Next, we got in their lands. Now, heathens, don't go get any ideas about this justifying your pitiful land claims as you are today. This is just temporary real estate until the real landlords, that's us, Israel, come to collect the rent. As we already showed you, 32 and 8. Let's read 32 and 9 of Deuteronomy to see the verse right after that, to show you the preeminence of our people over all nations on the earth. Again, that's Deuteronomy 32 and 9. What does it say, brother?
For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Does that say all? Does that say the whole world in there, brother?
No.
Says Jacob, right? That's 12 tribes. I don't see the other nations in here. But yet, they still try to do this whole kumbaya Christianity nonsense of we're all one happy family. No, we ain't. The Most High said Jacob is a lot of his inheritance. That's you, black people, black man, black woman, scattered to the four corners of the earth, not knowing who you are as a people, destroyed in your knowledge of the Most High because you disobeyed and continue to disobey his law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we are on the bottom in every country we in. You think that was a coincidence? No. We are his portion. That's why he's beating our heads in, because we should know better. He holds us to a higher standard than these other nations. That's why they in their heaven right now, and we going through some stuff. But let's keep it going. So now we got the inner lands part. Now we got everyone after his tongue. What is this foreshadow here? You think this is just about some different languages, Israel? No, no, no. This is the Most High confusing these nations, making sure they can't unite against his master plan. Almost like what he did at Babel. But to the Most High, it's a divine game of divide and conquer, setting the stage for Israel to swoop in and take over. So we got after their families and their nations. Again, don't get it twisted. You genealogy obsessed goofballs out there? No, sir. This ain't about preserving some kind of racial purity or whatever other nonsense you've cooked up. This is the Most High organizing these nations like pawns on a chessboard, each in its own place, ready to be sacrificed for the greater game. That's the harsh truth. They're only here for this purpose. They only got one purpose: to be ruled. The Most High is just using them right now to beat us over the head. They're his whipping stick. But then when he's done whipping us, he gonna whip them. And then after that, The remnant that's left of them are going to serve us for eternity. Whoopsie daisy. That's not what they teach you in Sunday school, is it? Absolutely not. So let's talk about this symbolism here in these verses. Notice how this verse comes after listing out all these sons and grandsons. Y'all see that? The Most High is saying this. All right, I've let these Gentiles have their little family reunion. Now watch me scatter them like roaches when the lights come on. And for those of you struggling to see the modern parallels here, think about it like this. Again, just like the United Nations, the European Union, and every other pathetic attempt at international cooperation we see today, all these nations keep thinking they the hot stuff. But guess what? They're just fulfilling prophecy, setting themselves up for the ultimate takeover when Israel rises again. So again, the next time you are tempted to waste your time drawing up fancy maps or tracing your family tree back to these Gentile nations here, heathens, remember this. The Most High didn't give us this verse for your geography homework or Ancestry.com subscription. He gave it to us to show how he's been pulling the strings all along, setting up these nations like bowling pins just for Israel to roll through and knock them all down. Strike! Perfect score. This is the true lesson of this thing. This is not about, trying to figure out who's who, like the camps do. They got their own little table of nations. They say, these people are this, people, this. It doesn't matter. They have missed the greater point. It matters not who these people are today. It matters absolutely not. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. So let's keep it rolling through Genesis 10, 6 and 7. Now we get to Ham. Ham.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mitzrayim, and Phut, and Canaan.
So here we go. And read verse 7 too.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, and Sabat, and Ramah, and Sabtech. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
So here we go. Verse 6 here. Another lineup of names that's got all the wannabe Afrocentrists and pseudo-historians foaming at the mouth. But let me guess, you think this is your ticket to claiming every ancient civilization under the sun, don't you? Nope. This ain't some we was kings manifesto. Because that's what people say. We African. Yeah, we Egypt. Yeah. They wearing the Ankh and the Eye Horse and all that nonsense. No. The Most High ain't giving us a Black History Month lesson here. He's showing us how he set up these nations as examples and warnings for Israel. If we go over to Psalm 105, 23 through 25, we see this written here. Again, that's Psalm 105, 23 through 25.
Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants.
Y'all see this? Even when listing out Ham's lineage, it always comes back to what? Israel. The Most High was setting the stage, family, preparing these nations to play their part in Israel's story, whether as temporary hosts, oppressors, or conquered peoples. This is all they are here for. These are their roles right here. This is their script. The Most High is laying out the characters in our story in this chapter, laying out a roadmap of all the people we're going to come in contact with. These are your characters in this divine story. They're all just playing a role, family. They're all just playing a role. Right now, they're playing the role of oppressor, and they are doing a very good job of that. Very good job. As you guys should know personally by having to deal with these people. But again, it's just a role. That's not who they are. It's just a role until the Most High says it's time for our comeback. So Genesis 10 and 7 here. Now we got the sons of Cush. Another verse, another parade of names. These people probably think out there they've struck gold, linking these names to every African kingdom from Ethiopia to Timbuktu. Congratulations, you've successfully, again, regurgitated some half-baked theory you found on a sketchy website run by a guy living in his mama's basement, most likely. Family, this ain't about tracing your roots or claiming ancient glory, especially for our people who think they come from here. The Most High is showing us how he set up these nations as object lessons for Israel. If we go over to Amos 9 and 7, we see the prophet says this. Again, that is Amos chapter 9, verse number 7.
Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? Have I not brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Captor, and the Syrians from Ker?
You see, while these nations were busy setting up their little kingdoms and empires, the Almighty was playing them all like fiddles. He was saying, look here, Israel, see how I am arranging these nations? That's so you'll have some cautionary tales when you inevitably screw up and need a good butt whooping to get back in line. That's what the Most High is showing you. That's literally it. That's it. That's it. That's what we're living in today. So let's talk the symbolism here. Notice again how we got 7 sons and grandsons of Cush. 7 again, number of completion. Most High showing us that these Hamitic nations might have their moment in the sun, as they did back in the day, but they'll never have what? The full 12-tribe perfection of Israel. As you can see, those Hamitic people down in the dumps, just like we are. They had the time in the sun way back when. Now they down in the dumps like we is. The Most High is saying, sure, I'll let these Cushite descendants have their fun, build their little empires, but when I bring my chosen people back, oh boy, it's going to make these Hamitic kingdoms look like a sandcastle compared to the mighty mountain of Israel's glory. That's what the Most High is saying to you in these verses. These people and their nations and their empires and their huffing and puffing pale in comparison to what our glory is going to be like when the Most High comes back, Israel. The Most High is showing you just how little these other nations mean to him. They may call you prideful, puffed up, blah, 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 because you're regurgitating this. Or you have this type of stance on it. But that's the Most High's word. Let them get mad. Let them. You hold your head up high, Israelite. And you show these heathen that you are the favorite. That you are the chosen. That they are nothing but a pawn in this grand game of chess. So modern day parallels. Think about it like this. These verses are like the ancient equivalent of what? The African Union or the Arab League that we got today. A bunch of nations thinking they're the shit, making alliances, drawing borders. But just like those organizations today, it's all just a sideshow until we get back into power, family. So the next time you are tempted to waste your time to claim every ancient civilization as your own, or tracing your lineage back to these Hamitic nations, remember this. The Most High didn't give us these genealogies for your misguided pride or half-baked history lessons. He gave it to us to show how he's been orchestrating this whole show from the jump, setting the stage for Israel's what? Ultimate redemption and global dominion. They don't matter. They don't matter. They do not matter. This is the point that the Most High wants you to get into your skull. If you are listening to my voice today, they don't matter. So let's keep it moving. 8 and 9. Talk about Nimrod here.
And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord.
Uh-oh. Here we go again. Right here. All the conspiracy theory nut jobs foaming at the mouth right now. Oh, Nimrod, the first world ruler, the Antichrist prototype. Shut your traps. I'm about to show you something. This ain't some Dan Brown novel or History Channel special. The Most High ain't giving us the origin story for your favorite boogeyman. He's showing us a prime example of what happens when you try to what? Set yourself up against the Almighty. You see, Mighty One here ain't no compliment, family. It's like calling someone a real piece of work. It means this Nimrod character thought he was the hot shit on a silver platter, when really he was just cold diarrhea in a Dixie cup. Ooh. Ooh, that must hurt his ego. As it says in Isaiah 14, 13 and 14. Watch this. To see what he symbolized here. Isaiah 14, 13 and 14.
Thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Sound familiar? Ain't that what he tried to do in Babel? Tried to build that tower to the sky? He's just playing, they all playing, all these leaders, they're all playing the same role. Arrogant. Same role as the Pharaoh. Same role as Nebuchadnezzar and all these other world rulers. They all got the same MO. That's just their character trait in this video game. 10 and 9. Right there, watch this. Most people think that this verse is praising Nimrod's hunting skills, don't you? Oh, look at the big strong man with his bow and arrow. That's what people think when they see this. They see that hunter. But this mighty hunter business ain't about bagging deer or shooting clay pigeons, family. It's about hunting men. Men. Nimrod was setting himself up as a tyrant, gathering people under his control like some kind of ancient dictator. And that before the Lord part, that ain't a compliment either. It means he had the audacity to do this right in the Almighty's face. As Jeremiah 16 and 16 says, if we go over there and read this right here, to show that we're talking about men, the hunter part. Jeremiah 16 and 16.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks.
The Most High is the real hunter, and he's going to hunt down all these wannabe Nimrods who think they can challenge his authority. So let's talk about this symbolism here. Notice how Nimrod comes from Cush, a descendant of Ham. The Most High is showing us that rebellion and tyranny can spring up anywhere, even from lines that were once blessed. It's a warning to Israel. Don't think you're above falling into the same trap just because you're the chosen people. A lot of us feel that same way. When we got into the land, we all felt the same way. Oh, the Most High he ain't gonna destroy us. He love us. Most High showed him, didn't he? Now look at us, scattered to the world, on the bottom, struggling for a living. Struggling for a living. But we the chosen. We the chosen. This is the lesson that the Most High wants you to see. So Nimrod, in modern times, is like every tin pot dictator. and megalomaniacal world leader we see today. All these nations thinking they're building the next great empire, when really they're just setting themselves up for a divine smackdown, as I showed y'all earlier with that Daniel 2:44. So the next time you people are tempted to waste your time drawing up fancy charts about Nimrod's kingdom or spinning wild theories about his connection to modern secret societies, remember this. The Most High didn't give us these warnings for that or your conspiracy theories. He gave them to us as a warning about the dangers of what? Pride in rebellion. This is what his story is about. The dangers of pride and rebellion. The Most High showing us what not to do, what not to be like. This is what he's doing with these verses here. They're all lessons, family, spiritual lessons that we need to learn even today in 2024. So let's keep it moving. Verse number 10, 10 through 12.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Neav, the city of Rabath, and Caliph. And Rezin between Neav and Caliph, the same is a great city.
So we see this right here. We see Babel. That's what we see. So Nimrod, the great-grandson of Noah, starts his kingdom in Babel, among other cities, all in the land of Shinar. Babel, later known as Babylon, becomes the poster child of what? Heathen empires throughout the whole Bible. It's like the Las Vegas of ancient times. What happens in Babel definitely does not stay in Babel. Now, Babel, again, is infamous for its later role that we'll see next week, Yah willing, in the Tower of Babel incident, where our genius ancestors thought they could build a tower to heaven. The Most High looked down, laughed, and said, let's confuse their language and scatter them. Because apparently humans in large groups without divine supervision just invent new ways to be idiots, as we can see today. Look at all the people, all these godless people. What are they doing? Finding new ways for abomination. Every day there's some type of new abomination coming up on the scene. And people not shaming it or anything. They're embracing these abominations. This is what happens when there is no God. No divine supervision. This is what humans do. That flesh, enmity towards God, it goes left when the spirit wants to go right. This is why this whole world is chaotic and messed up. That's why we as a people are messed up, because we follow after these other people. Why do we do this? I don't know. It makes no sense. Babel, or as it's known in Hebrew, Bevel, was the epicenter of Nimrod's wicked kingdom. And it's the place where he rallied the masses to unite against the Most High and build that infamous tower that would reach unto heaven. A symbolic middle finger to his authority. That's basically what that tower was. And a declaration of what? Man's supposed self-sufficiency and independence from their creator. And we can see how that's going. We can see how that's going for us today without God in our lives. We can see that. So you got Erech here. Calneh. Akkad and Calneh here. Now, Erech, this was the capital of the ancient Akkadian Empire, a hotbed of idolatry and pagan practices that will make even the most hardened sinner today blush. This is where all that stuff came from, family. All of that crazy mythology and all that nonsense comes from it. You got Akkad as well. This was the birthplace of what? The Akkadian language. which was used to what? Spread the lies and deceptions of Nimrod's false religion throughout the ancient world. So for the symbolism, Babel, if you didn't know, it comes from the Hebrew word Balal, B-A-L-A-L, which means to confuse or to mix. And that's exactly what Nimrod's kingdom was all about. Confusing and mixing the truth of the Most High with the lies and deceptions of false worship. But it doesn't stop there. The mention of the land of Shinar is a not so subtle reference to what? The ancient Babylonian Empire, which would later become the ultimate symbol of rebellion against the Most High and the oppression of his chosen people, Israel. And we can see this if we go to Jeremiah 51:7 to see what the Shinar eventually evolved into. Again, that's Jeremiah 51 in verse number 7.
Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad.
You see, just as Nimrod's kingdom was the birthplace of idolatry and false worship, Babylon will become the ultimate embodiment of a world system that we're in today, which seeks to intoxicate and enslave humanity, especially us as Israelites, with its lies and deceptions, leading them astray from the truth of the Most High. In today's world, these are your Hollywood propaganda machines, mainstream media, in these secular education systems like school, high school, college, all this nonsense, all peddling their own versions of truth that are diametrically opposed to the word of the Most High. These are the modern day Babels, using their platforms and influence to intoxicate the masses with what? Their lies and deceptions, leading them astray from the true worship of the Most High. But fear not, my family, for the Most High has given us what? The ultimate weapon against these modern day Babels and Babylons, the truth of his word and the discernment to see through his lies and trickery. That's why I told us in Revelation 18:4 to come out of her, my people, that you not be partakers of their sin, and that ye receive not of her plagues. This is why this is your key to not getting lumped into the nonsense and judgment that's going to come upon this worldwide system. All these countries are going to be judged, and if you are tied to them, you will take part in their judgment. So if I was you, I would separate myself from these people, separate myself from this system before you become destroyed like a lot of our brethren are. Just turn on the TV, look at the news. All our people dying every day, just dying over stupid stuff. Who's doing that? Who's behind all this? Most High Yah. So if you don't want to become another statistic on the 10 o'clock news, then I would highly suggest that you come back to this word and you follow this word and you separate yourself from these heathen before you catch a case. And so we move to 11 here. So we see Asher builded Nineveh in the city Rehoboth and Calah. Now you see Asher and Nineveh here. You better believe we're talking about some of the fiercest enemies and oppressors of the children of Israel. Asher, as you might have guessed, is a reference to what? The Assyrian Empire, one of the most brutal and merciless forces that ever faced our ancestors, as we know. These dudes were not playing around. They were the original shock and awe campaign, laying waste to cities and taking no prisoners. As you can see what happened to the northern kingdom, if we go to 2 Kings, chapter 17, and verse 6. Look at what happened to them by these Assyrians. Again, that's 2 Kings 17 and verse number 6.
In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Halah and in harbor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes.
That's right. These Assyrian jokers here were the ones responsible for carrying away the northern kingdom of Israel into captivity, scattering our ancestors to the four, erasing our identity from the face of the earth, family. But wait, it gets better. In Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. Nineveh and Calah. Sounds pretty impressive, right? Well, not so fast. These weren't just any ordinary cities. These were the crown jewels of the Assyrian Empire, the very strongholds from which they launched their campaigns of terror and oppression against the children of Israel. Nineveh, in particular, was the capital of this wicked empire, which was a veritable cesspool of idolatry. You had depravity there and all manner of ungodly practices. And if we go to the prophet Nahum, look what he said about it. Again, that's Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. Look what he had to say about Nineveh.
Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not.
So you see, these Assyrian cities weren't just centers of military might. They were hotbeds of spiritual wickedness, places where the worship of false gods and the oppression of the Most High's chosen people were celebrated and institutionalized, just like today. Just like today. This ain't no different, family. It's the same script going over and over again, repeating itself over and over again. There's nothing different. So let's look at the symbolism here. Asher itself is loaded with symbolism. In the original Hebrew, it's derived from the root word ashar, which means to make progress or to advance. And that's exactly what the Assyrian Empire was all about, advancing their wicked agenda of conquest and oppression, trampling over the children of Israel in the process. But it doesn't stop there, beloved. No, sir. The mention of Nineveh and Calah as great cities is a not so subtle reference to the pride and arrogance that often accompanies worldly power and influence, as the prophet Zephaniah would tell us. If we go over to chapter 2, verse 15. Again, that's chapter 2, verse 15. A warning to these cities that are like this.
This is the rejoicing city that dwelt carelessly, that said in her heart, I am, and there is none beside me. How has she become a desolation, a place for beasts to lie down in? Everyone that passeth by her shall hiss and wag his hand.
Y'all see that? Just as the Assyrian cities reveled in their greatness and military might, so too do the modern day empires and systems of this world revel in their own supposed invincibility and self-sufficiency. Just look around. We've got our own versions of Babel and Nineveh, places where wealth, power, and corruption mix like a toxic cocktail. Wall Street, Hollywood, Washington, D.C., pick your poison. And just like in ancient times, the Most High watching as we build our metaphorical towers, trying to reach heaven through technology, power, or sheer arrogance. And just like back then, there's a point where he might just decide to scatter us again. Maybe not by confusing our languages, but perhaps through the chaos of social media where nobody understands each other anyway. So what's the hidden symbolism, family? It's a divine comedy. The Most High sets up these grand civilizations as examples of not of what to do, but precisely what not to do. And what do? Run headlong into the same mistakes, like a toddler sprinting towards an open electrical socket. This is why we continue to be in this mess. We continue to do the same things over and over and over. We never learn our lessons as a people. We're the most stubborn and stiff-necked people on this planet. Y'all think y'all was doing anything different? No, our ancestors were the exact same way as you. And just like me trying to talk some sense into you, the prophets back then were trying to talk some sense into them. And guess what? They were rolling their eyes. Oh, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me. Now look at them. They all died. A lot of them got killed. A lot of them ate their own children because of the famine. It's going to happen again, family. Keep up with the pride. Keep up with the arrogance. Keep on thinking that the Most High ain't doing nothing. The Most High got nothing but time. He got nothing but time. He can wait you out. Eventually, guess what? You're going to have to pay the toll. So keep on disobeying the Most High. Keep on eating your shrimp. Keep on eating your lobster tails. Keep on eating your ham. Go ahead and do it. Live it up like these other nations. Live it up. Eventually, you're going to meet your maker. And let me tell you, it ain't going to be good. So take my words. Take my warnings. Heed them. Take this correction. We've all messed up. I messed up. Everybody here messed up. But take this correction and apply it to yourself. And change. Repent and change before you end up like these other nations. Destroyed. Evaporated from the dustbins of history. That's where you're going. So this Genesis 10 through 12, isn't just a dry listing of cities from a long dead empire. Cautionary tale, wrapped in a historical footnote, served with a side of divine irony. God's way of saying, look, I've seen this episode before, and it doesn't end well. So maybe, just maybe, we should start watching, learning, and perhaps, for once, not repeat the same disastrous mistakes our ancestors did. How about we do that for a change, Israel? How about we stop repeating the same crap that our ancestors before us did? How about we make a new change? How about we stop these generational curses, quote unquote? How about you be the change you want to see? And stop blaming our condition on some generational curses. You can break the chain. Most High telling you, you can break the chain. I'm showing you all these people, all these empires. I'm showing you how they rise and how they fall. I'm showing you how they fall. I'm doing it. Take note. Don't be like them, or else you're going to fall just like them. So let's keep it moving. 13 and 14, Genesis 10. Some more people.
And Mitzrayim began Ludim and Anam and Lehabim and Naphthalim and Pathrusim and Cassalim, out of who came Philistim and Caphatorim.
Crazy names, I know.
Oh, yeah.
First off, let's get our players on the field. We got Mitzrayim. For those of you who haven't cracked open a Bible in a decade, that's Egypt. Yes, Egypt, that great civilization that couldn't figure out how to keep Israelites out of power. Thank you, Joseph. Let's go read that Genesis 4:41 and 41, just to show you. Genesis 41 and 41 to show you how the Most High got some jokes. He got some jokes. Took this Israelite and put him all the way up here.
And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt.
You see how the Most High treat you, Israel? When you follow him, plain and simple. Now, Mitzrayim's kids here, Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naphthalim, God, these names, are basically a list of tribes you've never heard of because you were too busy watching reality TV instead of reading about your own history. These names aren't just to twist your tongue. They represent what? The spreading of Mizraim's lineage into various tribes across Africa. But let's not let the truth get in the way of a good Eurocentric story, right? According to mainstream history, everyone important apparently looked like Brad Pitt, even in Africa. Look at your 10 Commandments movie. The Pharaoh was white. This is what these white folks have done. They have whitewashed even Ham's lineage in history. This is what they have done. So let's go see what this Egypt is all about, huh? Let's go to Exodus 1:13 and 14 to show you how they played a part in our story. Again, it's Exodus 1:13 and 14.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor.
That's right. These Egyptian jokers here were the ones responsible for enslaving our ancestors, subjecting them to backbreaking labor and unspeakable cruelty, all in the name of their false gods and pagan practices. But wait, it gets better. Next verse, 14. I ain't gonna say these names, but it sounds like a mouthful, right? Well, these weren't just random names, family. They were the very tribes and peoples that would later become some of the fiercest adversaries of the children of Israel. Take the Philistines. These jokers were the descendants of Casluhim, and they will go on to become the sworn enemies of our ancestors, constantly warring against them, and even in capturing the Ark of the Covenant at one point. If we go to 1 Samuel 4 and 11 to go see that story, that part of the story. Again, that's 1 Samuel 4 and verse 11. Watch this.
And the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were slain.
So you see, these tribes weren't just random footnotes. They were the very thorns in the side of the children of Israel, our ancestors, constantly opposing and oppressing them physically and spiritually. So what's the big deal here, family? The Bible is laying out a family tree, showing how diverse groups came from common ancestors. It's like saying, despite all our differences, we're all connected, except, of course, Israel, because we're chosen, set apart. We know the drill. So again, think of these tribes like different ethnic groups or nations today, each with their own distinct cultures and territories, just like you've got different states in the U.S., with people in Texas acting all different from folks in New York. And before you start thinking this is some feel-good kumbaya moment here, remember, those groups often ended up in conflict just like the nations today, fighting over land, resources, i.e. colonialism in Africa, and power. It's like a never-ending episode of Game of Thrones, but with more sand and less dragons. That's basically how you can compare it. So let's look at some of the symbolism. The name Mitzrayim itself, in the original Hebrew, it's derived from the root word metzar, which means to bind or to oppress. Ain't that funny? And that's exactly what Egypt represented for our people. A place of oppression, bondage, and spiritual captivity. But it doesn't stop there. The mention of the Philistines and their connection to Casluhim is a not so subtle reference to the constant struggle between the children of Israel and the forces of idolatry and false worship. How do we know? Judges will tell you. If we go to Judges 10 and verse 6, how the Philistines were all up in our stuff. Again, Judges 10 and verse 6.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Balaam and Asherah, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the army of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord, and served him not.
So you see, just as the Philistines were a constant thorn in the side of our ancestors, so too are the forces of idolatry and false worship, a constant temptation, stumbling block for the children of Israel, even in 2024. But fear not, family, for again, the Most High has given us the ultimate weapon against these modern-day Egypts and Philistines. How do we know? Exodus 14, 13, and 14. Again, Exodus 14, 13, and 14, to show you who the weapon is.
And Moses said unto the people, Fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will shew to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, ye shall see them no more forever. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace.
So you see, this modern day Egypts and Philistines today might seem alluring with their promises of worldly success, material wealth, and societal acceptance. But underneath that facade, family, they're nothing more than spiritual prisons, seeking to enslave the souls of the unsuspecting and lead them down the path of destruction. So to my Israelite warriors out there, spread this truth like wildfire. Let these nations know that we ain't falling for their modern day Egypts and Philistines. We're the children of the Most High, armed with the truth of his word and the discernment to see through the lies and trickery of these world systems that seek to enslave us. And if anyone tries to come at you with some, oh, but it's just entertainment, or it's just education nonsense from Hollywood or these schools and colleges, just hit them with the good old yeah. And the Egyptians were just trying to enlighten us too. But we all know how that turned out. And watch them scatter like roaches, looking for a comeback. This is what it's about, family. This is how you stay in your knowledge. This is how you are not deceived and tricked when they come at you with all this man knowledge, this man wisdom. When you know this history, when you know this stuff that I'm telling you, none of the things that they say can ever sway you from the foundation, which is this Bible, which is in Yahushua HaMashiach. Nothing can sway you from this foundation. Nothing. All the lies and deceiving will never work on you again. That's why I'm giving you the hidden stuff of this chapter, so you guys can be well armed against the deception from all these other nations. So let's keep it moving. We're going to read 15 through 18 here to round off the sons of Ham.
And Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite.
All these ites, huh?
A lot of ites.
Keep it going.
And the Arvarite, and the Zemarite, and the Hathamite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad.
So focus on verse 15 here. So Cain is popping out kids like a demonic Pez dispenser, right? You think this is just some boring genealogy? No. This is the Most High again, showing us the roots of the nations that will become Israel's biggest pains in the butt. Sidon and Heth, more like, yeah, well, I ain't even gonna go. Shit show and headache. That's who they are. How do we know? Let's go to Deuteronomy 7, 1 and 2 to show you what the Most High think of these Canaanites. All these ites. Deuteronomy 7, 1 and 2.
When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor shew mercy unto them.
Show no mercy. You see, the Most High already planning the eviction notice for these clowns. But no, y'all probably think this is just some ancient history lesson with no relevance today, huh? Wrong. These nations represent the spiritual forces of wickedness. We're still battling. Sidon, that's like the spirit of materialism, making you chase after the latest Jordans while your soul rots. Heth, that's the spirit of compromise, making you think it's cool to just have one drink at the club. Wake up, family. All these other nations are all operating in the same spirit. Opposition to whom? You, as an Israelite. That's why when you say, I'm Israel, they don't say nothing when you say, oh, I'm Jamaican, or when you Muslim, or I'm Christian. But the minute you say, I'm Israel, boy, that spirit in them, it perks up. You ain't no Israelite. You ain't no Israelite. They'll let you be Muslim. They'll let you be Christian. Hell, they'll let you be a Buddhist. But as soon as you say an Israelite, oh, boy, that spirit comes in like a whirlwind. And their true colors come out. So verse 10 and 16, now you got the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite. Another parade of pagan losers. The Jebusite, that's the spirit of stubbornness, making you hard-headed against the truth. You know, like when I'm preaching fire and brimstone and you're sitting there thinking about what's for dinner. I ain't mean to call y'all out. I ain't mean to call y'all out like that. Amorite, that's the spirit of pride, making you think you're the shit when you're really just lukewarm garbage. Uh-oh. Girgashite, that's the spirit of worldliness, making you chase after every shiny distraction this Babylon system dangles in front of your eyes, in front of your face. James 4:4. Let's read this, because James talks about all this. James 4:4. Four. Yeah.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
Y'all see that right there? Boom, boom, boom. You see how deep this goes, family? While you're out here thinking Genesis is just some ancient family tree, the Most High is laying out the spiritual warfare playbook. He's giving you the script. I'm telling you the script right here. Right here in this 10th chapter of Genesis. I'm giving you the whole script of what we're going to face as a people, even till today of 2024. But we ain't done. 17, the Hivite, Archite, Sinite. We got more demon spawn from Canaan. The Hivite, that's the spirit of deception, making you believe the lies of this world. You know, like when you actually think voting in this rigged system is going to change anything. Talking to you Negropeans out there. The Archite, that's the spirit of false security, making you trust in your 401k instead of the Most High. The Sinite, that's the spirit of sin itself, trying to convince you that a little compromise won't hurt. Romans 6:23. What are the wages of sin, sir? What does Paul say about that? Romans 6:23.
For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Oh man, spiritual warfare again. You better recognize the real enemies we're up against, Israel. It ain't just some ancient tribes. It's the spiritual forces trying to drag your sorry behind to destruction. All these nations represent this. They're trying to lead you astray. They're trying to get you to operate in your flesh instead of your spirit. This is what they're here for. The Most High showed you back there with these Canaanites what we're going to be dealing with as a people all throughout our history, even till today. You got to look at the spiritual aspects, not just look at it carnally. 10 and 18, the Arvadite, the Zimmerite, the Hamathite. And then afterwards, the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the hits just keep on coming. Arvadite, that's a spirit of isolation, trying to cut you off from your people and the truth. Zimmerite, spirit of confusion, making you think up is down and wrong is right. And the Hamathite, that's the spirit of the rebellion, whispering you don't need to follow all the Most High's laws. But peep this last part, though, family. This one right here I want you to pay attention to. The families of the Canaanites spread abroad. You think that's just some geographical note? Nope. That's prophetic, showing how these wicked spiritual influence would infect the whole damn world. Boom! Ain't we like that today? This is where all that wickedness comes from, family. Ham, right here. Through Nimrod, on down. Spread out into this world. This is where we're at today, family. We go to 1 John 5:19 to read this little nugget here. 1 John 5:19 to show you what I'm talking about.
And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
So there you have it. What you thought was just a boring list of names is actually a divine blueprint of the spiritual warfare we're still fighting today. Every time you're giving to pride, lust, deception, or any other sin, you're letting one of these Canaanite spirits set up shop in your life. It's time for us to wake the hell up. Recognize the real enemy. Stop letting these modern day Canaanites, these other nations who are operating in the spirit of these Canaanites here, run wild in your life. Get your ish together, Israel, before you end up another conquered territory on this planet. In this Babylonian kingdom. Do not become another statistic, family. Understand this. This is where it all comes from. Giving you the history, just like I gave you in Revelation 18. Where that woman comes from. I'm giving you another history lesson right here through these Canaanites. That's where all the wickedness, all those things came out of. Those spiritual wickedness, the spiritual warfare we're fighting today. This is where it comes from. The Most High was giving us the blueprint right here. So to show you all the stuff that we're going to deal with. So let's keep it moving. 19 and 20. We flying through.
And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah and Zeboam, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations.
So we start on 19 here. So you see that Sodom and Gomorrah. You see it. Sidon to Gaza. That's like saying from the crack house to the whorehouse. Outlining the territory of sin that our people are still stumbling through today. You think Sodom and Gomorrah are just some old cities? Wake up. They represent the epitome of moral decay and rebellion against the Most High. How do we know? Jude 1 and 7 gonna tell you. These are examples, family. Remember that. These cities are only here for examples of what not to do. Jude 1 and 7 gonna tell you.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
You see this? These ain't just place names, they're warnings. Every time you're tempted to indulge in the filth of this world, you're taking a stroll through spiritual Sodom. And let me tell you, the Most High's GPS don't play when it comes to sin. He knows exactly where you are. Admah and Zeboam, never heard of them? That's because they got wiped out with Sodom and Gomorrah. The Most High is saying, hang out with the wrong crowd and you'll get judged with them too. That's another lesson, fam. This is why he tells us to separate from these unbelievers. Can light be with darkness? No, it cannot. Because if you get judged and you hanging out with them, you're going to get that judgment too. That's why he tells us to come out of her, my people. These are the lessons that the Most High is trying to teach you. He's teaching you just through these cities alone of what not to do as a people. But do we listen? No. Proverbs 13 and 20. To basically sum up what I'm saying. Proverbs 13 and 20.
He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed.
You see how deep this goes? While you're out here thinking it's just some ancient border dispute, the Most High is mapping out the danger zones for your soul. In verse number 20, the grand finale of Ham's family reunion. You probably think this is just wrapping up again. Another boring genealogy, but think again. The verse here is showing us how sin spreads and organizes itself after their families. That's how generational curses work. After their tongues. That's how false doctrines and lying tongues proliferate. In their countries and nations. That's how entire systems of wickedness get established. Ephesians 6 and 12 showed you what we're up against. Ephesians 6 and 12. This is what this verse is trying to tell you. It's linking it up right here.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So family, you see it. This ain't just a family tree. It's a spiritual warfare map. These sons of Ham represent the organized forces of evil that are still trying to ensnare our people today. You got your families of sin. That's like the gangs and cliques trying to pull you into their foolishness. You got your tongues of deception. That's like the smooth talking preachers feeding you prosperity gospel BS. And you got your countries and nations of wickedness. That's like the whole damn Babylon system we're living in today. It all connects, family. You got to see the deeper picture. It's not just a bunch of names. They all mean something. This is what they all mean. So wake up, Israel. While you're here, again, thinking Genesis is just a dusty old history book, the Most High is laying out what? The battle lines for your very soul. Every time you step into the club, flip on that worldly music or entertain those lustful thoughts, you're crossing into enemy territory. It's time to recognize the real map we're navigating. Stop letting these modern day Canaanites and sons of Ham dictate your path. Get your spiritual GPS locked onto the Most High's coordinates before you end up permanently relocated to the land of what? Destruction. Simple. Blew my mind when I came across all of this. Blew my mind. How all this stuff connects. What the Most High was doing, showing us a roadmap. This whole chapter is a roadmap of all the stuff that we're going to go through. I hope your minds are blown. I hope you guys are understanding this lesson today. This is very, very, very informative for your souls. I hope your souls are gobbling it up like hungry hippos. Verse 21, brother, Genesis 10. Let's keep it moving.
Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even to him were children born.
Look who just entered the chat, fam. Shem. That's our ancestor. That's where we come from. This is where the chosen line comes from, family. This is where it comes from. But again, this ain't just some genealogical footnote. This is the Most High dropping the mic on the entire plan of salvation. Shem ain't just a random dude with a funny name. He's a cornerstone of the Israelite nation. Father of all the children of Eber. You know who that is? That's us. That's us. Eber is where we get the word Hebrew from, in case your Sunday school teacher was too busy passing out stale cookies to mention that little tidbit. Philippians 3 and 5. Let's go read this real quick. Let's go see Paul flexing his Hebrew credentials. Philippians 3 and 5.
Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee.
Paul flexing. And it all traces back to this verse right here. While y'all are out there trying to claim every Tom, Dick, and Harry as your ancestor, the Most High is laying out our royal lineage. Now peep this. The brother of Japheth, the elder. Oh, you thought the birth order didn't matter. Wrong again. The Most High is showing us that sometimes the younger gets the blessing. It's like he's saying, I don't play by your rules. I choose who I choose. Well, let's go see where else this happened. Romans 9, 11 and 13. The Most High is just showing you a blueprint again. And look how he fulfilled this blueprint. Romans 9, 11 and 13. 11 through 13.
For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Boom, 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 shakalaka. There it is right there. Most High playing 4D chess again. While y'all still trying to figure out tic-tac-toe, he's setting up the whole Jacob and Esau drama right here in Genesis number 10. Ooh, mind blown. Holy crap. Holy crap, right here. Don't even get me started on even to him were children born of this verse. You think that's just stating the obvious? Use your head. This is the Most High emphasizing that the line of Shem is fertile and fruitful. It's like he's saying, watch this space because I'm about to populate a whole nation from this dude. How do we know? Genesis 12 in verse number 2. What did the Most High say to Abram?
And I will make thee of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
You see how deep this goes? The rabbit hole is deep. While you're out here thinking it's just some ancient baby announcement, the Most High is laying the groundwork for the entire covenant with Abraham. So Israel, every time you doubt your heritage, every time you try to water down your identity, you're spitting in the face of this divine declaration. You think being Hebrew is just about not eating pork? It's about carrying the very promise of the Most High Yah himself. No ifs, no ands, no buts. That's how simple it is. So let's keep it moving, though. Genesis 10 and 22.
The children of Shem, Elam and Asher, Arphaxad, and Lud and Aram.
It's Shem family reunion, and you're all invited. But y'all think this is just an ancient roll call. Most people just read this. Oh, these names, just names, just names. This ain't just a list of Shem's rugrats. It's a prophetic roadmap of nations and their spiritual significance. Let's break it down for you. Elam, you think this is just a random name? This is the foundation of Persia. Every time you see Iran flexing in the news, remember the Most High called that shot right here. Isaiah 21 and 2. Let's go read about Elam. Isaiah 21 and 2.
A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealt treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media, all the sighing thereof have I made to cease.
See that? The Most High is using Elam as an instrument of judgment. So while you're out here worried about your Instagram likes, he's moving nations like a chess piece. And then we got Asher. Oh boy, here comes trouble. It's the daddy of Assyria, the nation that will later come to whoop Israel's butt. Dun, 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 dun. Crazy. Isaiah 10 and 5.
O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation.
So the Most High is playing a long game here, setting up future disciplinary actions right here in Genesis. Y'all think y'all can just sin willy-nilly without consequences? Think again, dodo brains. No, you are not. I told you, you all get consequences. It may not come today, may not come tomorrow, but it will come. And then we got Arphaxad here. This is the line that leads straight to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. While the other nations are getting set up for judgment, the Most High is already paving the way for his chosen people. If we go to Luke 3 and 36, we're going to see him a part of the genealogy of Christ himself. Luke 3 and 36.
Which was the son of Canaan? Which was the son of Arphaxad? Which was the son of Sem? Which was the son of Noah? Which was the son of Lamech?
You see this? Your boy Luke's tracing genealogy of Yahusha all the way back to Arphaxad. This ain't just a dusty genealogy. It's the royal bloodline of the Messiah. We got Lud. You probably never heard of this joker, have you? That's because you're too busy watching World Star instead of studying your history. Lud is linked to the Lydians, a nation known for their wealth and commerce. How do we know? Ezekiel 27 and 10. Again, that's Ezekiel 27 and 10.
They of Persia and of Lud and of foot were in thine army, thy men of war. They hang the shield and helmet in thee. They set forth thy comeliness.
So the Most High again, showing us how these nations will play roles in future prophecies. While you're out here chasing paper, he's already laid out economic powers of the ancient world. That's what he's doing here. You got Aram, last but not least, the father of the Arameans. You know, the people whose language parts of the Bible were written in. Yeah, that's right. The Most High is even setting up the language he's going to use to communicate with his people. So wake up, Israel. This ain't just an ancient family tree. It's prophetic blueprint of nations, of judgments, and the very lineage of the Messiah. So every time you ignore your heritage, every time you chase after the ways of the other nations, you are again spitting in the face of this divine what? Declaration. Right there in your face. We keep it moving. 23. We're looking at all the kids.
And the children of Aram, Uz and Hul and Gether and Mash.
So more names you probably never heard of because you're spending more time binge watching Netflix instead of cracking open your Bible. Let's break it down and expose these hidden gems these heathens have been trying to keep from you. We got Uz. You think this is just a random dude's name? Wrong. Wrong. Uz is the land where Job, the most righteous man of his time, hailed from. Yeah, that Job, the one who had more patience than a saint dealing with you knuckleheads. Job 1:1, let's read it. To see, right here.
There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil.
So next time you're whining about your first world problems, remember Job from Uz, who lost everything and still stayed faithful. Can you even imagine that level of dedication? You weak-willed whiners. A lot of whiners in our Israelite community. Whiners. Job lost everything, and he still stays faithful. He ain't whined not one time. He's a shining example of what you should be like. Now we got Hul here. Now Hul might sound like some kind of ancient cough syrup, but this name is significant too. Hul represents a people who will later become known for their strength and resilience. Think of them as the ancient version of those CrossFit fanatics who won't shut up about their workouts. Think about them like that. But then you got Genesis 10 and 23. We talked about that. So it's the same verse. Hul's descendants were known for their physical prowess and endurance. And then you got Gether as well. His descendants were known for their wisdom and strategic thinking, which shows how we need to have wisdom. If we go to Proverbs 4 and 7, we can see this.
Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
So we have to get the understanding. We have to get some wisdom. And how do you get wisdom? By reading this book. A lot of y'all don't want to read this book. So a lot of y'all are content with staying stupid, foolish in the eyes of the Most High. That's fine. But you're going to have to answer to all of that. So we keep it moving. We are on 24. We're going to read 24, 25.
And Arphaxad begat Selah, and Selah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
So here we go. More stuff. More names. Now, Arphaxad again. He's a direct descendant of Shem, one of Noah's sons. Arphaxad, his name means healer or releaser, which is pretty ironic considering most of y'all need some spiritual healing out there. If we go to Genesis 11 and 10, you'll see this direct descendant.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
So while most of y'all are out there acting like spiritual lepers, remember that Arphaxad's lineage was all about healing and releasing from bondage. Maybe take a page out of his book and start fixing your own broken lives. Because a lot of us are broken, family. We need some spiritual healing. Like Marvin Gaye would say. You got Salah here, another name you probably skipped over. Salah's name means mission or sent. This dude was all about purpose, something you wouldn't know if it slapped you in the face for most of you Israelites. We go see his genealogy right here, Genesis 11 and 12.
And Arphaxad lived 5 and 30 years and begat Salah.
So again, while you are wandering aimlessly through life, most of you Israelites out there, remember Salah had a mission because that's what his name meant. So maybe it's time that you found yours instead of wasting your existence on meaningless crap of this world. Y'all see these names got meanings. They got meanings in the original Hebrew. They got meanings. They mean something. A divine blueprint again. We keep it going with Eber. Now we get into the good stuff. Eber is the ancestor of the Hebrews, as I said before. Our people. His name means the region beyond, or to cross over, symbolizing what? The crossing over into a covenant with the Most High. So let's go see when he was born. Genesis 11 and 14.
And Salah lived 30 years and begat Eber.
So while you're out here crossing over into every sin imaginable, Israel, remember Eber crossed over into righteousness. Maybe it's time you do the same. And then unto Eber, we got Peleg. For in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Peleg, literally, his name means division. What his name means? Prophetic, ain't it? Because in his days, the earth was divided. This ain't talking about some continental drift nonsense. This is about the division of languages at the Tower of Babel. See, that's a prophecy. His whole name literally meant that. And we can go and see this in Genesis 11 and 9.
Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So while you guys are out here babbling in your own confusion, remember that Peleg's time was marked by division. Maybe it's time you stopped dividing yourselves with petty BS and united ourselves under what? The Most High's commandments. This is what the Most High is showing us through these names. Joktan, and here's that Joktan here, whose name means small or insignificant. But don't let the name fool you. Joktan's descendants became numerous and influential. So while you might feel small and insignificant, Israel, remember that Joktan's lineage became a force to be reckoned with. Maybe it's time you realize your potential instead of wallowing in self-pity. So let's bring this into modern day. Imagine if Arphaxad, Salah, Eber, Peleg, and Joktan were alive today. Arphaxad would be the spiritual healer. Salah would be the one on the mission. Eber would be the righteous leader. Peleg would be the one calling out the divisions, and Joktan would be the underdog rising to greatness. So what's the takeaway? The Most High has laid out a lineage of what? Purpose, healing, righteousness, and potential. Instead of wasting our lives on meaningless distractions, take a cue from these ancient powerhouses here and strive for greatness in your own walk with the Most High. This is what the Most High is showing you through these names here. This is what he's giving you. This is the underlying meaning of what he's trying to get to you symbolically, spiritually. Purpose, healing, righteousness, potential. Telling you what you should be what? Striving for, Israel. Let's go to 26 through 29. Got more of these names. More names. Let's get it.
And Joktan begat Almodad, and Shalep, and Hazarmath, and Jerah, and Hadoram, and Uzal, and Diklah.
28,
Keep
29.
going.
Yep, 28, 29.
And Abal, and Abimal, and Sheba. That was easy. Sheba. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. That sound ghetto. And all these were the sons of Joktan.
Woo, boy, I tell you, we got some crazy names, huh?
That's
Just like we do
names,
today.
brother.
Crazy names today. So let's dissect these names like a frog in biology class, right? Let's do this. Almodad. This guy's name means measure or restraint. Something you all clearly lack considering Israel's gluttonous lifestyles. There's a reason why a lot of our people are overweight. We need to hold some measure and some restraint. Let's go to Proverbs 25 and 28. Watch this. Most High calling you out right here. Proverbs 25 through 25 and 28.
A righteous man falling down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain and a corrupt spring.
Is that 25 and 28?
Oh, my bad. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
Most High is saying losing self-control leaves you as helpless as a city without wall. Restrain, measure. That's Almodad here. So while you're out here living without restraint, Israelites, remember that Almodad's name is a call to measure your actions and live with some dang on discipline. Come on now. Now we got Shalef. His name means drawing out or extracting, which means maybe it's time for y'all to extract your heads from your butts and start living righteously. You stubborn people. Yes, that's right. I'm talking. Most High calling you out right here. This whole section, he calling you out. James 1:22. Your favorite verse, brother. James 1 and 22.
James 1:22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
So while you're out here being useless, remember Shalef's name is a call to what? Action. So get off your lazy behind and start doing something meaningful. Most High calling y'all out, bro. Now we got, I ain't gonna even try to attempt that name. The H name. This name literally means village of death. Sounds like a cheerful place, doesn't it? It's a reminder that what? Life without the Most High is a living death. If we go to Proverbs 14 and 12, Solomon here backs me up. Again, Solomon will back me up here. Proverbs 14 and 12.
There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death.
Death. So again, while y'all are out here living like spiritual zombies, remember, his name is a warning. Get your stuff together before you end up in the village of death, family. Before it's too late. Now we got Jerah. His name means moon or month. A reminder that time is ticking and you're wasting it on meaningless crap. Paul backs me up. Ephesians 5 and 16. Watch this. Again, that's Ephesians 5 and 16.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Most High saying, these are evil times. So make every minute count, but y'all wasting time. So while you're out here wasting that time, remember, Jerah's name is a call to make the most of your days. Stop wasting your life and start living for the Most High. Living for the Most High. That means you got to be in this word. You got to be about this word. You got to walk it. You got to talk it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Most High laying down the blueprint for what you got to be doing. Now we go to verse 27. Now we got Hadaram. His name means noble honor. Something most of y'all wouldn't know if it slapped you in the face. Sorry, that's just the truth. Proverbs 22:1. Solomon again backs up my claim.
A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold.
Most High is saying a good reputation and respect are worth much more than silver and gold. So while you're out here tarnishing your name, Israel, remember Hadaram's name is a call to live honorably. Maybe it's time you started acting like you have some sense. That's what the Most High communicating to you here. He know what you're going to be about in 2024. He know what you up to. He laid it out right here. Now we got Uzal. His name means wanderer. A reminder that without the Most High, you're just wandering aimlessly through life. And if we go to Psalm 119:105, how do we keep ourselves from wandering aimlessly? Again, Psalm 119:105.
None. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
The word. So while most of you are out here lost and confused, remember Uzal's name is a call to find direction in the Most High's word. Stop wandering and start walking the righteous path. That is what he's saying. Now we got Diklah. His name means palm grove. A symbol of what? Peace and prosperity. Something most of us wouldn't even know if it hit us in the face either. Psalm 92:12 backs me up right here. Psalm 92:12.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
So while most of y'all are out here living in chaos, remember, Diklah's name is a call to seek peace and prosperity through what? Righteousness. Righteousness, that's the key word. That means stop doing your wickedness. Stop breaking his commandments. Do something right for a change. Verse 28, more names. Obal, his name means stripped bare, which is a reminder that without the Most High, you are spiritually naked and vulnerable. And if we go over to Revelation 3:18, John, the Revelator, backs me up on this. Again, that's Revelation 3:18.
I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayst be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
So while the most of y'all are out here spiritually naked, remember, Obal's name is a call to clothe yourself in righteousness. So stop living in shame and start living for the Most High Yah himself. Another one, boop, out the way. Abimael, what does his name mean? My Father is God. Woo, woo, woo. Right there in the name. A reminder of what? Your divine heritage, Israel. Something most of y'all don't even know about. And most of y'all don't even want to be. If we go over to Romans 8:16, my brother Paul again will back me up. Again, that's Romans 8 and verse 16.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
So while the most of y'all are out there living like spiritual orphans, remember, Abimael's name is a call to what? Embrace your heritage. So start living like a child of the Most High, and stop making an embarrassment of his name. Next, we got Sheba. His name means oath or promise. A reminder of what? The covenant that the Most High made with our ancestors. You see this divine blueprint in these names of these Shemites? Genesis 17:7. This is what his name means. It's a call out to. Again, Genesis 17:7.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
So while you're out here breaking every promise you've ever made, remember, Sheba's name is a call to what? Honor the covenant. So start living up to your promises to the Most High Yah. You don't think he watching every move you make? You don't think he can't see you? He looking right at you while you're doing your wickedness. And if you don't repent, you're going to have to answer for that when time comes. So we move to verse 29 here. Ophir. His name means riches or abundance. A reminder that what? True wealth comes from the Most High Yah, not your pathetic attempts at material gain. How do we know? Proverbs 10:22. What you got to say about this, Solomon? Proverbs chapter 10:22.
The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it.
None. When the Lord blesses you with riches, you have nothing to regret. Why? Because you did it righteously. You didn't cut no corners. You didn't get over on one of your brothers or sisters. You did it righteously. So while most of y'all are out here chasing after meaningless wealth, remember, Ophir's name is a call to seek the true riches in the Most High. Stop chasing after fool's gold and start seeking divine blessings. That's where you want to be, family. That's what the Most High is trying to tell you here. Havilah, his name means circle or district. A reminder that life is a cycle, and you need to break the cycle of sin. That's what going around in circles mean, right? Going around in a circle. Ecclesiastes 3:1, Solomon again, backing me up. Ecclesiastes 3:1. What you got to say, Solomon?
To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Everything on earth has its own time and its own season. So while you guys are out there stuck in a cycle of sin, remember, Havilah's name is a call to break free and start living righteously. Stop repeating the same mistakes and start living for the Most High himself. He got Jobab here. His name means crying or wailing. A reminder of what? The sorrow that comes from living in sin. How do we know? My homeboy James is going to back me up. James 4:9. What does it say? Again, that is James 4 and verse number 9. Hit me.
Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness.
So while you're out there laughing in your sin, remember, Jobab's name is a call to what? Repentance. Start mourning your sins and seek forgiveness from who? The Most High Yah. So let's bring this to the modern day here. Let's bring it. Imagine if Joktan's sons were alive. Almodad would be the disciplined one. Shalef would be the man of action. Hazarmaveth would be the warning of spiritual death. Jerah would be the remainder or the reminder of time taken away. Hadaram would be the honorable one. Uzal would be the wanderer seeking direction. Dikla will be the symbol of peace and prosperity. Obal will be the spiritually naked one. Abimael will be the one embracing his divine heritage. Sheba will be the promise keeper. Ophir will be the seeker of true riches. Havilah will be the cycle breaker. And Jobab would be the one crying out in repentance. So the Most High has laid out a lineage of purpose, discipline, action, warning, honor, direction, peace, spiritual wealth, divine heritage, covenant keeping, true riches, cycle breaking, and repentance. Instead of wasting your life on meaningless distractions, take a cue from these ancient powerhouses and strive for greatness in your own walk with the Most High. All of that in them names. All of that. We skipped over it. This is just a bunch of names. I don't care about that. But look at what these names mean. The Most High was creating another blueprint for how we are supposed to be. Hello, hello, hello. McFly, McFly. Anybody there? Hidden in these verses. Hidden from the masses. They don't understand this. They can't see it. Blinded. But the Most High, in his infinite mercy, his infinite grace, was able to open my eyes to see these truths and to relay them to you. Now you can apply them to what? Your life. So you can live right in the Most High's eyes. So let's keep it moving, family. I hope this is making sense because, man, this blew my mind. Blew my mind as I was going through this. I hope I am making it as simple as possible for y'all. I truly do. Let's keep it moving in Genesis 10, though, 30 and 31, brother.
And their dwellings was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations.
So let's break this down here. Genesis 10:30. Their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest from unto Sephar, a mount of the east. So look at this, a geographical reference. But don't get too excited. This ain't about some mystical far-off land. This is a clear-cut description of what? The territories occupied by the descendants of Shem. Mesha and Sephar, these places are in the so-called Middle East, not in Europe. So let's get that straight. The descendants of Shem, which include the true Israelites, that's you, that's me, black people, were dwelling in these areas. As I told you, the Most High divided these nations according to you. So the Most High set the boundaries for the nations, and guess what? He didn't include a single European country in the inheritance of Shem. So all you Eurocentric Christians out there can take the whitewashed maps and shove them where the sun do not shine. Yes, sir. Not one European country here. So they claim to be in Israel is null and void here. Genesis 10 and 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Oh, the sons of Shem, which consists of the Israelites, the Negroes, not this mixed up, watered down version of Israel that includes every Tom, Dick, and Harry from around the globe. That's what Christianity wants you to believe. Everybody can come to Jesus and be a part of God's big old happy family, kumbaya, around the fire, singing some worship songs, blah, blah, blah. No, that ain't it. Let's go read Isaiah 11 and 12. See a future prophecy that has not happened yet. Isaiah 11 and 12.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Y'all see this? So notice how it mentions gathering the dispersed of Judah. That's right, the southern kingdom, the ones who were left in the land after the northern kingdom got scattered. And guess what? They ain't white. They ain't Hispanic. And they sure as hell ain't Native American. They're all Negroes. So let's bring this into the modern day, shall we? Look at the ghettos, the slums, the inner cities, where our people are crammed into like sardines. That's your Mesha to Sifar right there. The true Israelites, scattered and oppressed, living in the modern equivalent of those ancient lands. If we go over to Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 2. Again, that's Lamentations 5 and verse 2.
Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens.
That's right. Our inheritance, our lands, our identity, all hijacked by a bunch of imposters and strangers. You got these fake Jews running around claiming to be the chosen people while the real Israelites are suffering in the streets. So the hidden symbolism here is as clear as day if you got the eyes to see. The dwelling from Mesha to Sephar represents what? The true Israelites' original homeland. And the fact that it's mentioned in the context of Shem's descendants highlights what? The importance of lineage and heritage. Because guess what happened to our heritage family because of our disobedience? Let's go and read it, shall we? Jeremiah 17 and 4. Again, that's Jeremiah 17 and verse number 4.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever.
And why did you do that, Lord? Why did you do this to us? Verse 5.
Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord.
Oh, you mean stop following the commandments and started following after man? Like what we're doing today? Most of us are looking at history books and, oh, those are not Israelites. Oh, they were not black, blah, 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 blah. Listening to man and not believing this book here. Not listening to you, the Most High. Not listening to you, Yah. We trusting in human strength versus your wisdom. That is where we're at today. We've been cut off from our heritage, serving our enemies in lands we didn't know. But the Most High is going to set things right, family. And when he does, all you lost, misguided souls better be ready. I repeat, ready to reclaim your true identity. So these two verses, 30 and 31, is a stark reminder, a very important reminder of who we are, where we came from, and the inheritance that has been stolen from us. So you got a choice. You can either wake the hell up and reclaim your identity as the true Israelites, or keep wallowing in ignorance and spiritual death and see where that gets you. More of the same bull crap that we've been enduring for the past millennia. Do not repeat the same mistakes, family. Become a new creature in the Most High Yah. Learn to live righteously. This is what the Most High trying to get you to understand. Stop repeating the same BS. He laid it all out here in this whole chapter of what we're going to go through as a people. And now we finish it up with 10 and 32.
These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood.
So let's dissect this. These are the families of the son of Noah after the generations in their nations. This line right here, it's the ancient version of a family reunion barbecue, except nobody bringing a potato salad. We're talking about Shem, Ham, and Japheth here, the trio responsible for repopulating the whole planet after God decided to wash it clean because of our BS. This isn't just a list. It's a blueprint of the post-Diluvian ethnic distribution. But don't get it twisted, family. This ain't a fairy tale about everyone holding hands and singing Kumbaya. It's the setup for all the tribal beefs and national throwdowns that fill the pages of human history. If we go to Genesis 9 and 19, backs me up. Just go back a chapter. Talked about it last week. Genesis 9 and 19.
These are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread.
See? Straight from the horse's mouth. The whole earth was populated by these three dudes' descendants. No magic, just good old-fashioned procreation. And so by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Now this is where it gets juicy. Divided, divided, divided. Not united under a single banner singing "We Are the World." Divided. Each family line carving out their own chunk of the post-flood real estate, setting up shop and starting the age-old tradition of arguing over who gets the bigger slice of the pie. This division isn't just geographical, family. It's linguistic, cultural, and yes, even spiritual eventually. As I told you earlier, the Most High divided all these nations because of you, Israel, because he needed you to go be in these other nations when he scattered you out of the land. So even in the division, there was the divine plan focused on you. The Most High got his eyes on the prize, and that prize is his chosen people. Everyone else, I repeat, everyone else is just background noise. So let's bring this ancient drama in today's context with a modern example, shall we? To make it simple. So think of this like the aftermath of a massive corporate merger. So you got the big boss, in this case, the Most High, just clean house. And now it's time to reassign roles and offices. Shem, Ham, and Japheth are like the regional managers, each responsible for a part of the world. And just like any corporate setting, there's bound to be some rivalry. Who gets Europe? Who's stuck with the deserts? Who's managing the tropical paradises? Corporate politics, ancient style. So what's the hidden symbolism here? It's a roadmap, family, a divine GPS, if you will, illustrating how from the very beginning, humanity was set on a path of division that would require what? Divine intervention to correct. Each nation, each tribe, each family has a role in this grand cosmic drama. But let's not forget the star of the show, Israel. The rest of the nations, they're just supporting characters. So there you have it. The entirety of Genesis 10. Stripped bare, laid out for your amusement, and hopefully your enlightenment. Remember, this isn't just about who went where. It's about setting the stage for the real story. The story of a people chosen by God to bring light to a world segmented into 1,000 pieces of darkness. So this is your history. This is your legacy. And I hope you got some understanding in the Most High's name. Thank you for listening to this lesson. That concludes my sermon. All praises and great glory to the Most High for giving me this wisdom, knowledge, understanding to impart to you. I hope you guys were spiritually edified. My spirit is full. I can't move. I got spiritualitis. And I hope you do as well. So until the next time, y'all willing, next week we'll be going over Genesis 11. But until then, y'all stay blessed. Shalom.